Hello everyone, it's Steve with Aptera Owners Club. Deep within the SEC filing for 2022, the annual report, is the news that Aptera and Andromeda interfaces are parting ways. So you guys remember about a year ago, Andromeda interfaces was bought out by Aptera, and these guys are friends with the guys that run Aptera, and they were part of the original group that made the UI for the first iteration of Aptera. And I think they thought that they would work together because Andromeda interfaces and Crank Software had kind of done the preliminary interface for them. So they bought them out. It was like it's an exchange for stock in Aptera. And this is what it's saying in the SEC report right here. On April 1st, 2022, the company entered a plan of merger with Andromeda Interfaces, a California corporation. Upon completion of the acquisition, AI became a wholly owned subsidiary of the company. During 2022, Aptera discovered a low-cost, high-quality alternative for the in-vehicle infotainment system through an external supplier. As a result, the company reevaluated the need to support the AI business, required research and development costs to support the display systems it sold. In April of 2023, the company began the process of selling AI back to the original owners. And then in a further part in the filing, it says here, in April of 2023, the company signed a settlement agreement where Aptera agrees to sign all of its right, title, and interest in capital stock of AI to each of the Andromeda Interface's founders. In return, agree to assign all their right, title, and interest in and their Aptera shares to Aptera, specifically 251,087 shares of Aptera stock. So basically, the Andromeda Interface's founders are giving them back all the stock, and then the company is giving them back ownership of the company, which represents the entire share consideration received under the merger agreement. Aptera shall own all right, title, and interest in any intellectual property made, invented, developed, created, conceived, or reduced to practice as a result of work conducted pursuant to the founder's employment by and services to on behalf of Aptera since April 2022, or otherwise created jointly since such date through April 23. Each AI founder will assign and otherwise transfer to Aptera all such right, title, and interest to such intellectual property as is necessary to fully effect the foregoing. AI founders will retain ownership of design and intellectual property to certain products it had, it had prior to being acquired. Okay, so basically they're saying any stuff that was done by Andromeda Interfaces in the past year belonged to Aptera. Anything that was intellectual property before April 2022 go back to the original owners. So essentially, they're just kind of like they're having an annulment. Essentially, they're like going back to everything. And I think the founders of AI and the Andromeda Interface employees were paid by Aptera. Of course, they keep their salary, but basically the company's going back to the founders, and the shares are coming back to Aptera. And any work that was done in the past year stays with Aptera, and any work before then goes back to them. So it's a pretty clean break. It sounds like it's fairly amicable. Um, my question is what is this low cost, high quality alternative for the InView through an external supplier? And I'm thinking that maybe it is Android Automotive. Now, that Android Automotive is different than Android Auto. Android Auto is the thing that you like plug into your Android phone, and then it like uses your car's screen to essentially run some Android apps that are on your phone. Android Automotive is an operating system that's put into the car that you can use independent of a phone. And so, this is so don't confuse the two. Android Automotive is different than Android Auto. And you can have it with their automotive services, which is like Google Maps and all that stuff, or you can have it without it. And I don't know what the licensing costs are. I suspect that the licensing costs without the GAS is pretty minimal, and with the GAS, probably a little bit more. But I'm guessing that they realized that um, it's much more cost effective, and this is a very robust solution than to try to do it from scratch. And if you guys remember from a video that we had back in, what was it, about a year ago, we were looking at the user interface and we found out that they're using this Toradex IMX8 quad-core processor to run their UI and to do a lot of their UI stuff. And if you look at that, their website of that supplier, it fully supports this Android Automotive. So these IMX8 and IMX8X devices fully support Android Automotive, and you can get all the you can download the kernel and load it onto their system. So I think it's very plug and play, and they just need to port it over and make sure it works with their system. And if you look at the list of cars that are using Android Automotive, it's quite a extensive list. So you know that it's very well tested and it's going to work. It's in all the Polestar vehicles, the Hummer, and then a lot of the other GM vehicles are going to have it. A lot of Renault Volvo vehicles are going to have it, and Honda's putting it in. And then these are the vehicles that have it without the like Google Maps and Google Play and Google Assistant, that kind of stuff. The Rivian, Lucid, Dodge, Chrysler, BMW, and a couple of Maseratis. So that's my guess as to what their external suppliers, and I hope that that's true. I hope they're going with Android Automotive. I think it'll be a great UI, and it's done by people that know what they're doing, and it's already been done, so no reason to reinvent the wheel, and it looks like a lot of vehicles are using it. So I think it would be a good system, and I hope that's what they're going with. And that's my guess as to what this low-cost, high-quality alternative is. Tell me what you guys think is the alternative, and what do you think about them going their separate ways? I always thought that this merger was, maybe not the best idea, because, like, why would you do this when you could just license Android Automotive? Which, if anyone knows how much it costs, let us know in the comments. But I suspect the cost is fairly minimal. Because I know, like, and the Android operating system for phones is very, very cheap to the phone manufacturers. So Google basically almost gives Android away to try to get users to drive their advertising business for using their services. And I think that's kind of where Android Automotive is going to go to. They almost give away the operating system for free. Or very minimal cost in order to drive market penetration. So I thought that this never made a lot of sense. And so I hope they're going with Android Automotive because it is a mature solution and they don't have to do too much development on it. Okay, well, thanks for watching, guys, and have a great day.